Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Francis Warren. Francis Warren, according to this interview with Box Nation, rages at Billy Nelson over Moses Itauma'S chin remarks. Okay. And we've heard Billy Nelson say something about the chin, and this is Francis Warren's rage, and he responds.
All Billy does is moan. All he does is moan and talk his guys out of fights. Why would we want to work with people who are fucking rude and disrespectful? No one's ever said anything negative about Martin Bacoli at all. Why is Billy Nelson talking about his chin? On that note, congrats. On a positive note, I think Moses Itauma were brilliant this week. Did a fantastic fight week in Scotland. Loved it like the Glasgow crowd. Tonight showed once again why he's the biggest thing in this sport, potentially the biggest thing in this sport. Cheers, everybody.
Okay, and those are the words of Francis Warren. Sounds like Frank Warren, don't it? I don't think they're any relation, but I could be wrong. Anyway, the way he responded, he was, he comes off irritated by what Billy Nelson said, and he said all he does is moan, and he talks himself out of fights. And that kind of raised a red flag, because it's like, well, how and what fights did he talk himself out of? He said he's doing that by being disrespectful. Who wants to work with someone like that? That's not a good sign. I don't like the way Francis Warren is talking. That's almost like, it puts you in the mind of that old throwback Shelley Finkel / Eddie Hearn type situation, or Frank Warren versus Eddie Hearn back in the day, when those guys were going back and forth, but no fights were being made between the two. And boxing fans suffered. So him saying that, hey, he never said anything bad about him, I don't know why he would do that. That's disrespectful, which it kind of is. However, to be fair, Billy Nelson did a subliminal. He pulled a subliminal. He really didn't say, well, you should ask him about his chin. So he was alluding to his chin, okay? But he didn't go into detail. And the question is, when people do that to me personally, I can't take for what they're saying. They're like trying to say something without saying it. I call it a chicken shit move, me personally, because if you can't explain what happened, all the stories, all the beans that have been spilled from Martin Bacoli in regards to every top fighter out there right now, including the guy that knocked him out, Joseph Parker, he's had something to say. But then Billy can say that and say, well, I'm not going to say anything. You can ask him about it. Well, obviously something had to happen with the chin, though. Let's look at that. Because Francis Warren didn't say it was a lie. Now, did he? No, he never said that. That's something that you may need to, scratch your head about, because he just said all disrespectful. He's moaning, and all he does is, talk himself or his fighters out of fights. Who wants to work with him? It might have been people that Billy Nelson might have actually told the truth, but he really didn't want to say exactly what it was, but he already kind of said it without saying it. But the way Francis went about, he could have just said, no, that's not true. He's just talking bollocks. He didn't say that, did he? He gets pissed. And when normally someone gets pissed, he's mad. Maybe you're mad because Billy Nelson knew something that you also knew that you didn't want to get out. Think about it, people. So, yeah, what Billy Nelson said, he didn't really say it head on, but he said it in a way to get people's attention to say what he had to say about Moses Itauma'S chin. Now, where did he get that from? I don't know. But one thing we know, Francis Warren is not denying it. He's just really responding to how disrespectful it was. Well, that's not what we asked you. It's your job to say yay or nay. Not, oh, man, that was foul. No wonder nobody works with him. Who wants to work with him? No, we don't want to hear that shit, Francis. We want to hear you say, is that the truth or it's not? Then where did Billy get this shit from? See, the issue wasn't even taken on, okay, the moment that it was made. That's the thing. So that's what you look at. The avoidance. Anytime you ask someone or you're trying to get a straight answer out of someone and they don't give you one, they give you statements and comments. That's some politician chicken shit bull stuff. Right? So it is what it is, I feel. I feel that, something had to happen that gave Billy the right to say, or any way to say, that Moses Itauma has something wrong with his chin. Francis, of course, didn't say anything to defend him. So this is what we go on. You guys tell me what you think about Francis Warren raging at Billy Nelson because of the no chin comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.